What's going on, guys? Got another knife review here for you. Today we're going to be looking at the Deryk Munroe Revenant. This is a friction folder. This is the first friction folder that I've actually ever used or owned. I think for me, I've never been that huge of a fan of friction folders. I see the need of them for, say, legality purposes, say in Europe and whatnot, but for me, I never quite saw why I would ever use a knife that can't lock compared to and one that's slow in deployment versus, you know, again, yeah, one that locks or one that you can flick out. See, even like this is a ProTech Runt that I haven't reviewed yet, but this is California legal. Definitely a very small blade, but all these other blades right here are, they're all legal. There's no size restrictions and whatnot, and so the fact that it's a friction folder in our vicinity doesn't necessarily make it more legal or yeah, so but that aside, after getting this knife and playing with it and carrying it quite a bit, it's been one that's actually grown on me quite a bit, with a few caveats for sure, because it's still, I would say it's still grown on me, but there's definitely still some issues, with a friction folder, versus a normal one. Before we get into all that discussion, though, this one in particular is brown G10, no liners whatsoever. This is an extremely light knife. I believe 1 point something ounces. Here's my scale real quick. So, quick weight, yeah, 1.96 ounces. I don't know if you can see that in the video right there, but sub 2 ounces, for this knife, and it's light because of the G10 scales, no liners. It's got a titanium clip, and this one in particular is sporting a titanium blade. So right there you can see the carbonization on the edge. There's Deryk's. I don't think the octopus is standard. What's on the head of the octopus, that's what his normal icon or trademark is. I don't know if you can see that right there. And then the octopus, I don't know if that's, I think it's etched onto the titanium. I'm not sure how he does it, but it's pretty sweet. And then there's Deryk's symbol icon right there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool one. He also, Deryk makes some folders. If you guys know JD from USN, he's got a great collection of Munroes, and I just drool every time I see them. They're just such beautiful knives, and definitely this friction folder is a very attractive knife in my opinion. So anyway, and then it's got this interesting grind, kind of a nightmarish grind, if you will, where it's got this recurve here and then this belly on the front edge of the blade. So you can, drag cuts, you can do drag cuts, and then if you need to dig in. But again, with titanium, it's a softer blade, even with the carbonized edge. I don't know how hard use you can do or make, do on titanium. So I've used this, Warren Thomas Model 2 somewhat, and it seemed like it's held up pretty well. Definitely for food prep, titanium is actually a pretty cool, pretty good material, because you never have to worry about corrosion and all those things. Very smooth. I mean, basically your pivot tension is just basically how tight you make the pivot screw. If you want it extremely tight, then you can do that. If you want it loose and flopping, you can do that as well. Tolerances on this, as you'd expect from a Munroe custom, is spot on. I mean, there's no blade play on this knife other than the massive up and down, you know, as a friction folder. The jimping on here is also kind of peculiar. It's got back jimping that goes, that digs into your thumb as you're pulling back this way, and then on the other side, I don't know. I think you would think that it would pull back this way, but it's actually reverse. So maybe so that when you push this way, then the blade will go down to put the blade back into the frame. And that's really kind of one of the issues. I mean, you can also use a thumb hole for deployment if you want to. Deployment is really slow, and then action, because of, you know, the jimping and how you hold it. I just remember I was cutting a box open with this knife, and I was pushing down right here, and as I was drag cutting and pulling it down, you would think that the tension from here would keep the blade, you know, up into its frame. But you know, the pressure I put down here kept forcing the blade down this way. So I was kind of drag cutting, but the blade kept, you know, coming down like this into its frame. And I have to be honest, it was a little bit annoying. Because again, you would think, you know, a knife like this that locks up, you don't have any issues with that. No matter how you're cutting it, no matter how you grip it, the blade's going to stay in place. And so that was, you know, that was kind of my main issue with this Revenant, or really with any friction folder. And I'm not knocking friction folders. I know, you know, Tough Thumbs, Jeff, you know, he's got his war toes and they're cool looking, and you know, Todd Begg's got his friction folder as well, which is just beautiful. And I don't know, friction folders seems in this past year and a half or so has kind of been all the rage. But I don't know. I mean, I've had moderate experience, you know, with this knife now, and I like carrying it. I like opening and closing it. It's, you know, it's fun, and it's almost as addictive as, you know, flipping out any other knife, even just flippers or whatever. You know, it's just as addictive. But in terms of actual use, I think that this was where it kind of falters a little bit. Sure, it can, you know, cut tape like any other knife, but I don't know. This is not a knife that I would use for breaking down boxes and, you know, just my normal garage work if I'm doing that. So definitely not a tactical knife that you would put in your pocket for that purpose. So. But overall, in terms of style, in terms of very light usage, in terms of food prep, like if you follow my Instagram, I used this to cut up some mangoes, and it worked totally fine. But I don't know, I would probably reach for this one next time if I'm actually doing real food prep. Even though this is a pretty thick stock of titanium on top here, so it's not the best slicer, but it does have a chisel grind. This one has a chisel grind as well, obviously. Most titanium blades that I've seen have chisel grinds because they have to carbonize on one side here. So again, you know, for legality reasons, you know, if you're in Europe and things like that, then I can see how, as an EDC user, very light user, this would excel in that. For any kind of hard use, obviously, yeah, again, if it's a non-locking knife, I can't see it excelling in any of those ways. So, hate to say it, because I love this knife. It's a beautiful knife, and Deryk, you know, he makes amazing quality knives. He also has the danglers, like the things that you hang out of your pockets, as well as a titanium cross that I really like. I'd love to get that, you know, as an accessory for personal use. But anyway, yeah, Munroe Knives just makes an awesome product. I love the Revenant for what it is. You know, again, as a friction folder, it's a very beautiful, very handsome knife. but as a practical everyday carry with, you know, some hard use on occasion, I don't know, this wouldn't be the knife for me. So anyway, I'm not sure if this is one that I will keep in my collection or not, but I definitely enjoy it for now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. You guys take care, and I'll see you guys on the next vid.